lift off.
Pitch over means that it has already changed its direction from vertical direction to the
to a certain angle, right? We can also see that from a far
to
short.
the eastward.
Yes.
新山 USD 雷达跟踪正常，遥测信号正常。
The Shenzhou 16.
So this is a video mount with from the camera mounted on the core stage.
Right.
And this is an infrared image.
You're watching live footage on the launch of the Shenzhou 16 spacecraft to China Space Station.
And the next critical step will be the jettisoning of the emergency escape tower.
Right.
Again, this is infrared.
We can see a clear angle change, right?
Yeah. So it's flying eastward.
So will there be still some adjustment of the angle to the 41.5 degree as you earlier mentioned?
Yeah. So the inclination. So this is you can see the two of the boosters.
There are 4 in total,
There are
right?
4.
Yeah.
So there are 2 on this
Yeah,
side.
just from one side. Yeah.
Should be able to see it when separation.
Right.
So the emergency escape tower will be jettisoned soon.
You can see some light sparks on the top of the rocket when it's injected.
Right. And on the right side of the screen is the simulation.
3D simulation, but it is driven by the real data.
The real data, of
which
course.
means that the position and the jettison.
Now, the jettison of the escape tower.
Yeah. And the next step will be separation of the 4 boosters.
Right. Let's wait
Great.
for those step by step.
Followed by separation of the fairing.
The G forces acting on the bodies of the astronauts are increasing.
We can see the burning mark on the engines, right? So right now is really high into the atmosphere,
Okay,
right?
separated.
Okay, separation of the 4 engines.
And the core stage is also separated.
Core stage separated.
So this is again the infrared image. We can see very clear the 4 boosters and the first stage.
They've already separated from.
Now it's already on the working of the second stage.
Second stage.
As I mentioned, it has 1 main engine and 4 vernier engines.
Right.
They
They
are
say
just
they
talking.
feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking. And we
I
could-
think they've done the max Q, which is the maximum gravity.
They've already done that.
Yeah, they've already done it.
So you can see this is a camera from the video mounted on the second stage.
Second stage.
And
This
this
is
is
inside
a
the fairing.
camera in the payload fairing. And the next critical step will be the jettisoning of the payload fairing. Okay,
It's all done.
It's just
already done.
Yeah.
Now they can see the sight
They can
scenes
see
from the
outside,
window.
Yes, yeah, they can see the outside.
Yes. So are they out of the atmosphere right now?
Exactly.
So can we say they're already in outer space?
Yes.
You're watching live footage from inside the Shenzhou 16 spacecraft. The 3 taikonauts are now in outer space, heading towards the China Space Station. On the left side of the screen, we can see the camera mounted still on the
On course stage.
core stage,
The second
outside
stage.
the core stage.
So this is the working of the second stage of the Long March 2F rocket vehicle. Still, on the left of screen is the infrared videos.
Right.
And the second stage of the Long March 2F worked much longer than the first stage because it only has 1 main engine.
Right.
With a thrust about 80 tons.
This is the image of the stage, the second stage engine.
The main engine of the second stage is fixed, and you can see that the small engine on the left corner, the small vernier engine can change its direction to control the trajectory.
Okay, but the main engine is fixed its angle.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
propulsion purpose.
Yeah, right.
And usually we separate the payload fairing at the altitude of about 100 kilometers. So at this moment, according to the definition,
Now we can see again live streaming from inside the China space station.
they are watching the live coverage.
They're getting closer.
They're getting closer and closer to their colleagues at this moment.
And also on the right bottom of the screen, we can see the 3D animation, and also you can see the data link between the ground stations and the launch vehicle.
Okay, so three of them.
Three stations.
Three ground stations.
Three ground stations.
At this moment, they're constantly changing.
Right.
So they are experiencing the.
It's also a relay race between different ground.
They have a relay.
Downstream,
Yes.
And this is a video on the rear part of the second stage.
It's still working at this moment,
It's
right?
still working.
burning.
And the next critical step will be the shutdown of the main engine. But the,
we can see the Earth, right?
Yes.
yes, it's very bright.
So they're now in outer space, and the second stage engine is still at work. What's the next stage aim? They're adjusting the position angles or
adjusting its trajectory.
Trajectory.
You can see, although it is in daytime, but the sky is black because they were already in outer space in a vacuum condition.
So the rocket engine will take them to the right velocity and right altitude,
Right.
And right orbit before there is a separation between the engine and the capsule itself. And then the final success will be indicated by the deployment of the solar array.
Right. Wow.
They are very relaxed.
Yes.
The Shenzhou 15 crew are relaxed and happily waiting for their colleagues. But we can also see that the three taikonauts in Shenzhou 16 spacecraft, they're also relaxed because they've well trained for this process.
Yes.
And so far, it's been a smooth process.
Mr. Dr. Zhu Yangzhu and Dr. Gui Haichao, at this moment, they are already qualified to be an astronaut because they are already above the common line. About
Common
the,
line?
Yeah.
It's
The
a
common line
professional
is,
jargon.
the altitude is 100 kilometers.
Okay.
So that is the artificial definition of the border of the outer space.
Right. The final frontier, right?
Yep.
Named under von Karman,
Right.
the renowned scientist.
So what about staying time? What if someone just passes out Mars and re-enters?
I think
Okay,
there's a
the main
shutdown.
engine shut down.
The second stage engine is now shut down.
No, still the four vernier engines are working.
Okay. The main engine.
Main
Main
engine
engines
is
has
already
shut
shut
down.
down.
Which means they have reached the velocity and the altitude already.
And the vernier engine will do some very precise adjustment of the trajectory.
Still, we're watching live footage from the camera mounted on the second stage. And this is live stream from outer space.
Yeah. And after shutdown of the vernier engines, next will be the separation of the launch vehicle and the Shenzhou spaceship.
On the left, you can see the folded solar array. This is the stack of the solar array that has been folded in on the Shenzhou spaceship.
So at this moment, the cabin is still powered by batteries or what?
Yes, it's
Batteries.
powered by batteries.
Storage batteries.
Storage batteries. And once the solar panel is opened, then it can generate power by itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can see
Yeah, the
on
ground
the
stations
3D
are still
animation.
tracking the flight.
Yeah, from the 3D animation at the bottom right, you can see still that the four vernier engines are still working
Right.
to adjust the trajectory.
So when Professor Yang mentioned the burning engine, this is the process they take full advantage of the launch vehicle because the Shenzhou itself has its own adjustment system, but it's to take full advantage of the launch vehicle competence, and then after separation, the Shenzhou is on itself for adjustment.
Oh, they're still definitely watching in the same position. So yes, they're relaxed, but they're still anxious to
They will meet their colleagues
see the
this
success
afternoon.
of the launch at least, right?
Yes.
Well, we're also still anxiously waiting for that moment.
Okay, shut down.
Separation.
二级游击关系，团建分离。
Now, the engine has left the spacecraft.
Yes.
So the spacecraft is on its own now.
And the next step will be unfolding of the solar panels.
Right.
That means the launch vehicle has done its job.
It has now completely left the spacecraft. Its
The
job is done.
The March 2F is done. It's
And
finished.
next, we will measure the precise orbital parameters of the Shenzhou spaceship. And once it was confirmed it is accurate enough, we can announce the success.
Right.
Now astronauts are feeling microgravity environment. They can throw up their pin and they're floating.
We just heard the voice, the Chang Zheng 3, which means the space tracking ship.
Now, on the left-hand side are the Shenzhou 16 crew, and on the right side of the screen are the Shenzhou 15 crew. They're about to meet soon, once the docking is completed, and they will do a handover, right?
Yeah, in orbit.
Yeah, and eventually the Shenzhou 15 crew will go back to Earth.
Prepare a meal for 6.
You just heard that, right?
Yes.
That's crucial for a long trip, right?
You know that the Mr. Deng Qingming from the Shenzhou 15 crew is already a grandfather.
Right.
Yeah. His daughter is also working in our space field.
So it's also a generational thing. Yeah.
Now we're looking at the solar panel that's ready to be deployed.
We can see clearly the Earth is
Yes.
now, at least for us, it's on the right-hand side of the Shenzhou 16 spacecraft.
Yeah. So I believe this is a video from the camera mounted on the propulsion module of our Shenzhou spaceship. So you can see the solar panels.
So this camera will be there, right?
Yeah. And you know that transferring signals with videos need a very high capacity.
Is it more constrained by bandwidth or other
Exactly.
transmission?
So there are coordinations between NERSC and the ITU to get the compatible radio frequency.
Now, the solar panel is unfolding.
Unfolding very slowly. Great.
Now it's fully unfolded from what we can see, but we still need confirmation from ground control.